Morning. I'm going to call the Board of County Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, October the 10th to order at this time. And I'm going to ask that Justin Peters come forward for our invocation that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Larry Harvey. Please stand if you can.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we commit this meeting to you. We invite you to come and reveal your will in every aspect of our county. And as county affairs are discussed, we ask for your will to be done. Show our commissioners your purposes. Enlighten them that they may know how you want them to accomplish their tasks. As citizens of our county, we desire your glory and blessing in all that is done. Direct all thoughts, words, decisions, and actions toward the right path, and help all to stay on track. Let your will be done as plans and decisions are made. We pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Peters, and thank you, Commissioner Harvey. The chair will entertain a motion for approval of the minutes as listed on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the 2 minutes, the regular meeting September 12th and the emergency meeting of August 28th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. I'm going to recess the Board of County Commissioners at this time and convene the Port Authority meeting. And the chair will entertain a motion for approval of the minutes for the port.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the September 12th, 2023 minutes of the Port Authority meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Is there any public comment this morning on Port Authority items? Port Authority items. Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comment for the Port Authority, and I'll ask Sam to come forward and present the Port Master Plan at this time.
Good morning, Commissioners. Port Authority members. In your agenda packet this morning, you should have noticed that there is a Port Master Plan. That is a first step document for something that's going to be an organic document that will grow as the port and the operations there grow. It gives us a foundation, a original direction in which way to go for our operations out there, and it also provides us eligibility, once it's adopted, for FSTED funding to help with some of the infrastructure development that we need out there. For example, recently the Sheriff's Office was gracious and took us out on the river to take a look, do some sounding for the access channels, and we noticed the condition of the tieback at the port. It is a definite need of repair. I wouldn't tie a boat to it right now. So we definitely are going to need to be able to go pursue funds. The port plan, once adopted, makes us eligible for FSTED funds, which goes through FDOT. If you've looked at the plan itself, you will notice that there is basically we lay out what we have, where we want to go, and how we plan on doing it. I will field any questions at this time.
Any questions at this time?
I have some comments.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sam, thank you so much for this master plan. The more I travel around Florida with my counterparts, this port comes up, and it came up a few years ago kind of as a laughing gesture, if you will. But now it's really gained steam, and they're like, you need a port? But the St. Johns River was the highway for commerce back many, many years ago before roads and all airplanes and all that were done. So this port is vital to Putnam County, and with the expansion of the bridge, it's just going to bring more economic development to Putnam County. Sam, I did read the document. I appreciate what you've done on it. A lot of hard work, I know that. I was with you in Washington. We were up there doing that. But truly, this is going to elevate Putnam County into the future a lot. So thank you for all your hard work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Administrator Suggs.
Yes, sir. Just if I could, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to echo the same comments from Commissioner Harvey this morning. You know, this is a new day for Putnam County. You know, we're moving forward with this project. It's been ongoing now for several years, about 3 or 4 years under our watch. And Sam's done yeoman's work with it. Sam, great project, you know, great plan. Good working with President of Florida Ports Council, Mike Rubin. You know, he's been instrumental in making sure that we meet all of our guidelines. So I want to make sure Mike Rubin gets the shout out as well. You know, and the other partners that we've had in this, I see Sheriff DeLucia sitting in the audience this morning, and last week, the Sheriff's Office gave us assistance with their Marine crew, and Sam was able to traverse the channel that we're looking at with the Army Corps, just so we can get an idea of what our depths look like, and see if there's something we can start doing sooner rather than later. So, you know, this is a great team effort and a great project, so thank you, Sheriff, for that. And Sam, thank you for what you're doing with the port, and I know you're on top of it. And I understand we're going to be looking in the near future of getting an update for the Ports Council here, and hopefully Mr. Rubin will be able to attend that meeting and give us all a good update. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, Administrator. Mr. Rubin recently had some surgery, and he's still in the recovery phase. Once he's done with the recovery phase, he has every intention of coming to Putnam County and giving an update to everyone.
Thank you, Sam. I just wanted the commissioners and the Port Authority to know that that's being planned. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Are you ready for a motion?
I am, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of and integrate the Port Master Plan.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any general discussion on Port Authority items at this time? Hearing none, I will adjourn the Port Authority meeting and reconvene the Board of County Commissioners meeting, and we'll move into a public hearing for ordinance amending the road improvement implement procedures. I think we've heard this before and approved it, move it forward, so it's just a matter of it has to have a public hearing. Is there anybody here this morning that would like to speak concerning the implementation of the new MSBU ordinance? Okay, seeing none. Commissioner Harvey.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to bring to your attention on page 120, I'd like the wording to be changed. It's just where it says on item C2, second line, clerk of the circuit court, if we could add and comptroller to that. I think that would clean that up just a little bit, and that's the only change I would recommend to this document.
Okay, would you make that as part of your motion?
I will, sir. So, Mr. Chairman, I move approval of this ordinance amending section 32-25 of the Putnam County Code, Road Improvement Implementation Procedures, MSBU Implementation, ordinance number 2023-016, with the correction of the clerk of the circuit court and comptroller as being that person.
We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I just have a comment. I like the fact that we kept the wording the same as far as when we get to C4 on, you get to page 121, where if they get the 50% of the effective owners, then there shall be a public hearing before the board to consider the matter. So I like that we kept that wording in there that says it still gives the board the option in the instance of the one that we talked about the other week. Right. If the community decided that, it was 50%, but it was one person, we still have the liberty as a board to be able to say no if we feel that it was swayed in an unprofessional way. So I'm just very happy that that wording stayed in there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Next, we'll move down the list to number 5, and Commissioner Adams-Ack is going to read the proclamation.
This proclamation is very close to me, being one that served in the United States Navy. Putnam County Proclamation number 2023-125, United States Navy 248th birthday. Whereas the United States Navy is the only military service mandated as a requirement in the United States, in the Constitution of the United States, And whereas the United States Navy is known to be the largest and most advanced force in the world, on October 13th, 2023, the United States Navy will be celebrating its 248th birthday. And whereas the United States Navy is a seaborne branch of the military and handles operations on and under the sea, in the air and on the ground with a span of 100 international ports and the open ocean. And whereas it has the highest combined fleet tonnage and the world's largest aircraft carrier fleet, it has 290 deployable combat vessels and more than 3,900 operational aircrafts. And whereas on December 3rd, 1775, the Alfred, a merchant ship purchased by the Continental Congress, was commissioned under Captain Dudley Saltonstall and became the first to fly what would become the American flag. And whereas a Navy sailor generally serves a term of 4 years aboard one of the Navy's 290 deployable ships. And whereas Navy sailors work across a wide range of roles, from shipboard and submariner to aircraft and land jobs. And whereas the United States Navy has more than 347,000 active duty service members, 297,000 civilian employees, and 101,000 reserve personnel. And whereas an active duty Navy sailor can be assigned to any vessel, but only be assigned to the submariner fleet if the sailor volunteered to do so. And whereas over 7,000 veterans call Putnam County home year-round, an additional 10,000 veterans calling Putnam County home during the winter months. And now therefore be it proclaimed, we, Putnam County Board of County Commissioners, do hereby recognize and congratulate the United States Navy on the occasion of its 248th birthday on this 13th day of October, and recognize those sailors who are currently serving and have served our nation with honor, courage, and commitment. Done, ordered, and adopted on the 10th day of October 2023, I so move that we accept the proclamation number 2023-125.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Commissioner Adams-Act, for reading that for us this morning. We'll move on to public comment on agenda items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens the opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to my left, your right, at the podium. Ashley, do you have any cards this morning? Okay, is there anyone in attendance who would like to speak in public comment on agenda items? Okay.
Okay.
So seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda at this point. Does any commissioners wish to pull anything? Commissioner Adams-Act? Commissioner Harvey?
I have none, sir.
Commissioner Pickens?
I have none.
Commissioner Wilkinson?
J for discussion purposes.
And I have none.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, L, and M on the consent agenda.
So we have a
Second.
motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Item J, Commissioner Wilkinson.
I just want to thank staff for getting this moving forward. This is very important. I mentioned it when I first got on the board. We have seen so many ordinances and changes coming to Putnam County, and an impact fee could be, it could just truly make a difference for our citizens. And so we really need to look at this and see what our future holds for Putnam County. So I just wanted to thank you for doing that. Do we have a time frame that we can expect something back?
So in this meeting, our first hurdle or process in the procedure is that you guys have to give me rank order approval to then negotiate the contract.
Okay.
So then at the following or subsequent meeting, we'll bring you back an official contract that will define terms and conditions, timelines, dollars, and that type of thing. Scope
Well, I
of
know
work.
it's not something that's going to be quickly done.
Sure.
However, it can't get done quick for me.
Yes, so our goal obviously is for it to be done in time for you guys to make some decisions as we approach next year's development of fee schedules and that type of thing.
Okay, all right, very good. With that being said, I move forward with approval of Putnam County Impact Fee Study.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah,
Commissioner
I
Adams?
guess I just have a question in regards to what you did, Julian, because I thought the goal was to move this forward before we vote on the moratorium, which I think is March. So I think our timeline is a little bit more aggressive than June. That's what we talk about when we talk about moving this forward. So I just want to make sure that's still our timeline.
Commissioner, we'll check the date of the moratorium. It should all coincide. Not a problem.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're not waiting until June and then we're past that vote.
Thank you.
But even if we did at that point, and it wasn't quite ready yet, but it was almost ready, we don't have to put a moratorium on it for a full year. We could do it for 2 more months or something while we're waiting on the results from the study to come in, but hopefully they'll be in then, but it doesn't mean we'd have to do one thing or the other.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Did we vote?
No, we haven't voted yet. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Okay, we're going to move to new business. Who's doing this, Julianne? Barbara?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is one of our last insurance renewals. You know, most everything renews 10/1. This is a little later date. We're self-insured for workers' comp, so we purchased an excess policy. And this year, our insurer offered us some options on the retentions. The retentions have always been a big deal the past couple years. You know, they go up and they go down. Our current retentions are $750,000 on fire EMS because of the risk, and $650,000 on all others. They brought us in a renewal quote as expiring with the same limits, but the rate did go up about 4%. They offered us 2 other options, making the retentions all $750,000 on all employees. So there are some deductible options to make.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. Personally, for basically, what is it, $16,000, a little over $16,000, I don't think we should take another $100,000 retention on any single one that comes up. I think we should take the lowest retention that we've offered here, especially with it only being $16,000. So
I agree.
I definitely.
They did offer us one other option too that came in late last week, a 2-year agreement, the same as the option with the lower retention, keeping the rate the same.
They did give us a 2-year option, keeping the rate the same.
With the split retentions.
Okay, that would be my suggestion, even though it's not on the thing here, to lock in a 2-year rate at the 141,980. Is that what you're saying, Barbara?
Yes, sir.
That would definitely be what I would do if it, I think. Anybody have any questions of Barbara at this time?
Let me clarify something, Mr. Chairman. 2-year rate guarantee at the 140,
Well, it would be the .05579 because it is subject to audit based on payroll,
right, but it would be the same rate now.
the same rate.
Okay. So we have
Under the
4
payroll.
options, really, not 3.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I like option 4, so. Mr. Chairman, I move that we do option 4 and do a 2-year rate guarantee on that.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second under discussion. Just to make sure we're clear, we're going to take the current 750 and 650 SIRs and the 2-year rate.
Yes.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to move on to the Special Project Fund. This is the item that was recently asked to be placed on the agenda concerning a Special Projects Fund that the commissioners would be able to control. But it had, I want Julianne just for a moment to lay out the rules that would be involved in this. And so we could talk about them too. You can't just go hire somebody to clean out a ditch because you want your ditch cleaned. It's got to go through full procurement procedures, completely vetted, where we're transparent. So Julianne, could you please?
You talking about rules or the law?
All in all, yes, all. Yes, Julianne, please.
Yes, Commissioner. Based on the feedback that I've received, the parameters around the program would stipulate that the expenditure has to comply with all local, state, federal guidelines. which would include but not limited to your procurement code, ensuring there's a public purpose, all of those things. And then additionally, again, based on feedback from the board, would be that the expenditures must all be spent on one-time initiatives. Most commonly, that would be a capital. However, excluding the definition of pure capital because we get into useful lives and that type of thing, as long as it was a one-time initiative, I believe it would meet the metric of what the board's intention was at that time. The board can further then advise how they want to set it up.
Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, what I envision, and I think the conversations that we've been having, was when we see something like a project being done, and for example, I used the other day was carpet in the library, and if we could have tapped the brakes and got that painted while we were there, but they didn't know it wasn't in the budget, so it wasn't an option. And I think those are the things that I'd be looking at as we're doing projects. How can we save the taxpayers' money in the long run? And sometimes when you're in the middle of the battle is when you can see what really needs to get done. And that's what I'm seeing. So I agree it needs to be a capital fund. It needs to be through procurement. It needs to be non-reoccurring. It needs to have a public purpose. But for me, it even goes just a little, it's a common sense fund to me. It's something that we didn't budget, we didn't look at, and we don't need to bring it back and go through all the procedures. But we do need to go through our procurement and just move these projects faster. And that's what we're kind of getting caught by the economy right now, and when we're not moving our projects faster, it appears that we're spending a little bit more money than when we need to. And I think these are the things that we could do. So, Mr. Chairman, what I'm recommending is we take $1 million, $200,000 per district, and if you wanted to partner with another commissioner on a project that you felt, because at the end of the day, we're all county commissioners. So if there's a project in District 1 that needs something, which there always is, just a little levity for the situation. But if there's a project in anybody's district and we feel it's the best purpose that we can put some money towards it, then I think we should. So, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend a $200,000 per district, which would be $1 million out of our reserves to be used for this capital fund. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Commissioner Pickens.
Yeah, I agree. I had spoken to staff about this. They mentioned it to me that it might be good that we had this if the board agreed to be able to streamline projects. Most of them will probably be smaller. I doubt somebody will have a whole $200,000 project. We're not trying to circumvent, the procurement process. It's just to try to streamline a little bit and get some things done, because you use this money, to benefit the citizens of Putnam County, whether you put carpet in a library, you do something at a park, or a drainage feature or something like that. So I'm in agreement. And then we had discussed $200,000. So it'd be $1 million across the board for the 5 commissioners. So I'm in support of this.
But there's a lot of times a project that we've got going that we've brought through completely through the existing channels, which would not change. And when you get out there, you find out that inadvertently maybe a culvert was left out of the project, or maybe there's an extra small road that needs to be worked on that's right on the end of the road that you're doing on the project that would save tremendous amounts of money if you didn't have to go all the way through the whole process instead of just being able to do it. And it's exactly the same as what you're talking about. You could have painted the wall at the library as long as you went through full procurement, but instead of taking 2 to 3 months of going through the board to get it budgeted and what have you, you'd still have to follow all the rules, but you could have gotten that done. So I think there is a lot of validity to this. Commissioner Adams-Act, did you have something to add, sir?
I like the idea. I support the idea. 200,000 seems a little high to me thinking about it just overall in my head, but I guess I can see the perspective, especially when you bring up some of the culvert situations and other things that came up that got kind of pricey that we had to get people back out. I mean, there's an example in my district where we had to redo a complete area over I guess it's a bridge, or it's not even really a bridge, but a ditchway that we probably could have got around some stuff had we done it at that time. I don't know that the cost still was anywhere near 200,000, but I'd like to see a little bit less money, but I'm going to support it either way.
Okay. Commissioner Wilkinson, excuse me.
So Julianne, for clarity, other counties have implemented this kind of program, is that correct?
They have. I did the research on it a couple of years ago, so I don't remember the counties. We haven't brought it to fruition, but in other counties, it's designed to be just that, a program where the commissioners of their district or of their county have a particular need or interest, that's something that isn't funded in the general county funded budget, but is certainly a need of their community. And they have the leeway to spend these discretionary dollars on them within the confines of all the ordinances and laws that we all abound to.
So at some point, is it at the end of the year, or at some point does that list of what each commissioner spent on their area come back for just information purposes, or it's just in
Absolutely, it can. We can produce a report either at the quarterly budget reviews or at year end as a comprehensive review. That's not a problem on our end, because ideally we're gonna set up an individual line item expense for each commissioner, so it will all be tracked that way. And then subsequent funding for future years will all depend upon the board's direction at the time we develop the budget. So it's a one-time commitment. If you like the program and you want to do it again, if you all felt it was great, then we'll do it again. And if you don't, then we won't do it again.
Well, I think that's very important for transparency
Sure.
purposes. So I want to make sure that the citizens
happy to do it.
see what's happening.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Adams, aye.
Yeah, I like that commentary. I like the idea, and I like the idea of us reporting it quarterly, because that gives two things. It gives an update to the citizens in our districts of what we've done with it, if we choose to do something with it. And then it also allows that opportunity for us to discuss, because obviously with the sunshine, if Larry and I had a project we might want to work together, we can't talk about unless we're in a meeting.
Right.
Right.
And I think that should be the set-aside time where if there was a still cross-district project that we should speak about it, then obviously we could in any open meeting during commissioner comment
Right.
or wherever we wanted to do it. But that's the only risk I feel there may be, is it gives future commissions, obviously we all know, but I'm fearful that it gives a new commissioner coming in, right, because there's theoretically be 3 new commissioners, that we got to make sure we tell them about the sunshine, and if they decide to carry it forward in future years, just so they don't have those conversations amongst themselves about what they might want to use it for across districts. So,
Correct.
but thank you for that, Leo.
Okay, is there any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Okay, code enforcement, Thomas?
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
my book doesn't seem to have these.
page 338 doesn't have it.
Well, that's not the right one.
Well, that's case 338 is 21-019. Let's see if maybe they just got them mixed
Yeah, they're
up.
just not in order.
Look on
They're not in
42.
order?
Look on 42.
Yeah, they're kind of reversed.
Okay. Okay.
Page 343 is
347 is-
B, and then I guess the,
Okay.
all right, the one for the first case, which is 019, would be on page 347. So I think they are reversed, like Commissioner Pickens said. So the one you're going to talk about, the 019 first, Thomas?
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, that's on page 347 of your packet. Thank you. Please proceed.
Code case is 2021-19. Address is 103 Gaylord Street. The property owner's name is Fat Dog Properties, LLC. The violation was use of structures and care premises. The original fine amount was $58,087. Total cost of enforcement action was $1,691. Property owners have recently purchased the property. It is now compliant and requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Okay, is there anybody in attendance that would like to speak for or against this? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Codes Case 2021-00019 be accepted at $1,691 if paid within 90 days.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. 664
Yes, sir.
on page 43 in your packet. 343, excuse me. Okay.
Ready. Code cases 2015-664. Address is 128 Patch Street. Property owner's name is Gregory White and Carey Field. The violation was unsafe structure. Original fine amount was $58,087. Total cost of enforcement action is $1,924. The property owners recently purchased the property. It is now compliant and requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend a reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Okay, is there anybody in attendance that would like to speak in favor or against this case? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, Codes Case number 2015-00664. Staff recommendation of $1,924 if paid within 90 days.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. The next case is case number 12720 on page 338 in your packet. Thomas, go ahead.
Address is 147 Magnolia Street. The property owner's name is Gloria Moats. The violation was unsafe structure. Original fine amount was $14,912. Total cost of enforcement action is $5,279. And the property owners recently purchased the property, is now compliant and requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Okay, is there anybody in attendance that would like to speak for or against this case? Okay, seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, on case number 2012-00720, staff recommendation of $5,279 if paid within 90 days.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have a motion and a second? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, Commissioners. Have a good day.
Okay, we're going to move into the appointments. Commissioner Adams-Ack,
I have none.
Commissioner Harvey,
I have none.
Commissioner Pickens,
I have none.
Commissioner Wilkinson,
I have none.
and I have none today. Okay, with that, we're going to move into public comment on miscellaneous items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed in the meeting room entrance and should be submitted to prior meeting to the deputy clerk on my left, your right, of the podium. Okay, and we have a couple of comment cards this morning. The first one would be Amen Joseph. Mr. Joseph, if you would give us your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name is Amian Joseph. I live at 412 East Bannerville Road in Barton, or Palatka.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
In January, I called the County Road Commission office to ask about the repaving schedule for this year. And I was told by the county engineer at that time that Barton Road section from the new bridge to Banville Road was on schedule to be repaved this year. I patiently waited until the end of September and saw no action. When the new fiscal year started, I called back, and I was dismayed to be told that it was taken off the list and was not put on any future list. That section of road has not been paved since Sinclair Eaton was a county commissioner, close to 28 years ago. The portion from 100 to Bud's Grocery has been resurfaced, and the portion from Bannerville to the Clay County line has been resurfaced. But the portion in the middle has not been. If you have ridden over that road lately, it's one pothole after another. Granted, they've been patched, but the patches give you a washboard effect as you go down the road. It needs to be done, and I'm here requesting that it be put on the schedule for next year, this fiscal year, because it needs to be done, or we're going to end up having to tear the whole road out in order to get the thing back to drivable conditions. The other road that I asked about was Bannerville Road. From the old paved section to Songbird Lane was paved somewhere around 10 years ago with a chip and dip type operation. It wasn't paved with asphalt. We were told at that time that that road would be good for at least 10 years. Well, that 10 years has, I think, come and gone, and it also is starting to have a lot of potholes. My concern about Bannerville Road is we have a decent base for that road, and if we got a repaving of asphalt over that road, it would probably be good for another 15 years. If we don't do something before it deteriorates any further, you're going to have to go in there with a bulldozer, clean up all that's down there, and start all over again. As a citizen in this county worried about financing, I think that the time to get after something is before it deteriorates to have to be completely rebuilt. And my request here today is that you consider putting both those roads on your repaving schedule for this fiscal year. Thank you.
Mr. Joseph, I know that it'll make it this year because the stuff that's going to be paved this year is already been bid out and approved. It would have, the earliest would be next year.
Can I comment, Mr. Chairman?
Please.
Bannerville Road is on the 2024 resurface list to do the chip seal portion of Bannerville Road. That is in this fiscal year. We also applied for a SCOP grant to repave Road from the new bridge to the county line. Mm-hmm. It made it through the original hurdle in August. We're waiting to hear when it's going to get funded. So we do have a SCOP grant in to DOT to repave all of Barden Road. So we're just waiting. I mean, so it should be, we have something back, I would think, in the next month or two with full approval to do Barden Road on a SCOP grant. Now, I don't know how much is going to get funded, but we've turned in the S and all that stuff to DOT, and it got a favorable vote in August. So we're just waiting to hear the rest of it, and that would take Barden Road from I guess the new bridge is yes. referred to, yeah. to the county line.
I would also request that I be notified if this goes through, so I'll know what actions I should take after that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Okay, next we'd like to call up Mrs. Linda Mahoney.
Good morning.
Morning. Could you give us your name and address, please?
I'm a recent resident. I've been here about a year and a half, and I love the city and the people. I live at 109 White Oaks Trail in Satsuma. My name is Linda Mahoney, and I'd like to see some of my taxpayer money go toward paving our street. We have potholes that are, well, if you go out there today, they're really the worst I've ever seen them. They do send, the city sends a road grader every 4 to 6 weeks to pave over the holes, which it doesn't last very long. It's just repetitive. It creates a lot of dust. I live in I'm told it used to be a trailer park. It's now a community of homes. We owned our home and the land. The dust is pretty bad because the cars, it is a dead-end street. There is another street behind me, which is a dead-end street. It's right off of 17. So I would like to see some paving or some tarring to cut down the dust. I'm a senior citizen. It does cause some irritation with the sinuses, but I would just like to know if there's any plans in the future for this paving to be done.
I think part of the problem with White Oak Trail is there's some pretty good easement issues on who owns what right in there, especially when you go up the big oak trees and then around the sharp corner to the left where the big hole always gets, and we have to fill it in every time we grade and every time it rains. And so, but those oak trees are right in the middle of the right-of-way. And so you drive down beside the oak trees and you only have that real narrow road, and it's even encroaching a little bit over the property to the south of it just a little bit. And so in order to go in there and to pave that road or to do some substantial work to it, you would have to take out those massive oak trees that are right down the middle of the right-of-way as you go in. I looked at this several years ago pretty hard and even tried to talk to some of the residents around there about doing an MSBU where, an MSBU is where your taxes would go up a little bit, but then you'd have a paved road and the county would pave your road and you'd pay a little more until the MSBU had paid back for the paving. But the cost of doing that was going to be so astronomical that it didn't make sense to the residents there to pay thousands of dollars a year in additional taxes each because of the way that the right-of-way was not correct and the big trees were in the middle of it and the different aspects of it. So I know exactly where you're talking about. I really do. So, but I just don't know how much we're going to be able to do with it at this time.
Is there a possibility you could put some tar on? I remember as a child they used to have a truck and just spray some tar down it. I mean, that would would probably help once maybe the road grader came in and smoothed it out. I don't know. I'm not an engineer.
I'll request that Public Works take a look at it and see if there's any upgrades we can do. I think that part of our problem is just with that entrance with those big oak trees that we may not even have enough room. We don't just spray tar on the dirt. That doesn't help. But, maybe it's something we could chip seal or look at maybe putting some millings on or something like that wouldn't be too costly, that maybe we wouldn't have to tear out them big trees. So, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, we're supposed to go look at a dust control measure that's something very similar to what you're speaking about down in Polk County. We had a visit scheduled last week, but we had a tragic event that happened last week in our community that we didn't make it down. We have intentions of going down to Polk County to look at just exactly what she's saying. It's something we can put on a dirt road that helps bond the dirt road together and starts controlling dust. Polk County actually has a whole division that does nothing but dust control. So we'll absolutely we're going to go down there, and I think Mr. Stout's trying to get us down there in the next couple of weeks to go look at the process and see if it's something we can bring back here. So, but absolutely, we're going to take a look at it.
I appreciate
well, if you
that.
decide you want to try one out, there's your first one.
We had to look at the cost of them, and you guys could tell us if we could try one.
I understand, JR. But if it works out, we need a test subject. It sounds to me like we might have one right here.
Yeah, we got some lists of test subjects in District 5 as well.
Everybody's got that.
All right, well, good deal. Did you have anything else to add, ma'am?
Yes, I do. I have a neighbor at 104 White Oaks Trail. They have chickens. They have 2 chicken coops. They let the chickens run loose. They dig up my flower beds, my yard. I don't mind the chickens. I'm from a farming family. I mind what they could do. Is there anything? I try to chase them out of my yard. It's just, I've asked the neighbor nicely. It's just ongoing. I just wonder if there's anything
I'm not sure what the zoning in the area is, or if they're allowed to do that or not. Could we look into that and ask Thomas Moore to
It's
maybe take a
104.
look at that, please?
I
He's our
appreciate
codes
it.
enforcement
Like I said,
officer.
I'm a pet lover. I don't mind chickens. I mind what they do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that was at 104, I think she said, is where the chickens are. Okay. Okay. Have another card, okay. Tim Hoteling.
Good morning.
Tim Hoteling, 105 Riverside Way, San Mateo. I apologize for arriving late. I have out-of-state company. I didn't realize you guys would be so speedy today. And I was wondering if you could answer a couple questions on that special project fund. Did you all end up with any kind of a dollar limitation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, which was,
$1 million split between the 5 districts.
okay. And does it have to come in front of the public?
Yes, they set it up to where there would be a quarterly accounting of what the money, if it had been spent at all by the commissioner, what it had been spent on. And it has to go through full procurement and meet every statute and ordinance that there is.
Okay. How about a quick update on the animal shelter? Where is it? It's been
It's
months
still in
now.
design, last I heard.
But you had a contract ready to sign, and it went back for review, and that's the last that I've
I'm not
heard.
aware of that. I'm not aware that a contract went bad for review. We signed the contract for a design build firm, and right now the animal services is in design.
Okay. My apologies. The last I knew, the contract went back for review.
I'm unaware of that. As far as I know, the contract's still in order and it's in design.
Okay. Any ideas to when?
Julianne, do you know what the time frame is?
We had a project meeting with the designer and the design build contractor a couple of weeks ago. We're waiting on some final design specifications to come in from their engineering staff. We're hopeful to meet within the next month to get the final design and then to be ready to move. The contractor is still hopeful that we're on a year schedule to open the project from the time of the contract that our first meeting. So we're hopeful that we're going to have all of those things come to fruition.
Well, there were many things that the county was responsible for in the last contract I saw in terms of identification of placement and doing, I don't know, what do you call that, soil stability studies. Has the county been able to get started on that?
So the county is responsible for portions of fencing and the things that we can do more efficiently, some of the site work to prep. Until the engineer and the contractor make some final determinations as to site plan and layout and construction and those things, we would be essentially working without any great map. So at this time, we're in the process of getting that final design for both kennels and the office. And then we will move forward on all of those initiatives concurrently. So the county will be able to work, the contractor will be able to work at the same time.
Thank you.
Ms. Young, did you have anything else your light is on? Is that what you wanted to talk about, or did you have another?
I think we lit it up during the last conversation to bring attention that we had something to say.
Okay. Well, JR did correctly. Just butt in if you need to, because I don't really see this a lot. Okay, so is there anybody else that would like to speak in public comment? Okay, seeing none. The Honorable Matt Reynolds.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Just real quick, I'd like to thank county staff, Kevin Stevens with Parks and Rec, and the Sheriff's Office. On November 15th, we're moving forward with the recycling event from 3 to 5. It's going to be out at Carter Road, out at Parks and Rec. We figured that would be the easiest place to get traffic in and out of there. So just wanted to thank everybody for working with us on that. We really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Colonel Commando? Okay, thank you. County Administrator?
Nothing further, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
What?
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm not on there, but I have one quick thing. I'm just notifying the board that we do have a live auction for equipment and surplus goods. The auction will end on October 24th at 6:20. We did notify each of the commissioners. We have put it on our Facebook, we put it on our webpage, and we have several Facebook postings that will go through to the end of that auction period. But as the board directed, I'm just giving you notification of that.
When we decided to do these auctions like we've been doing them, and I know y'all are tweaking them each time a little bit from information from the last one, I noticed when you sent me the information that there was no inspection, that we don't even tell people where they are until after they've paid for them, and that we give them and they've signed a clearance letter or something that would then. How can you possibly buy a truck or an ambulance or something and not even know where it is located at, much less get to go see it?
No, sir. The auction states inspections will be Thursday, October 19th from 12 to 2. The address information will be added 10/18. I pulled up the auction webpage. That's what it says. So there is availability on the auction, but I will verify that. And in fact, on ours, is that one of ours?
On the page, it actually says.
It says the vehicle is located in East Palaca. So I believe inspection is absolutely, there's a set inspection. It's not open inspection, so
I'm
it's not
good with
inspection.
that, but you
But I
can't
will
sell
verify
anything
that.
without somebody at
Sure.
least getting to go out there and look at it.
Sure, and I will verify the inspection information.
Okay, thank you. Y'all have anything else, or was that it, Ms. Young?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Is it? Okay. All right. Commissioner comments, Commissioner Adams-Act.
Yeah, I just wanted to update you guys a little bit on, I brought up the eelgrass situation. I think we'll talk about the North Florida Regional Council as well. But we've been working with a coalition separate from the board, is people that include bass fishermen, the river keeper, concerned citizens, homeowners. I've met with several. I don't think it's a Putnam County only concern. So that's the biggest thing that I've explained to all of these groups. It is a regional concern across the whole river, and it's something that needs to be pushed at both the local level, at every town, city, or county that's along the river, as well as the state and federal level. So I think that the update I have for you is I feel like that group has been making progress on all those fronts, not just honed in on us because we had some fund, which is really what I think directed them here, is we had this fishing fund, so to speak. I think it will come back to us. I think we do need to be a participant in it. I don't know that we need to be a participant in it at $300,000 or whatever was being asked for. I've tried to temper that with the groups as well, and because I can't share this with you guys in any other way, that's work I'm doing in the background. I think it is one of the most important initiatives for Northeast Florida that there is. I think it ranks up there with the Okeechobee and South Florida issues that have gotten millions of dollars spent, both federally and statewide. And I think this project eventually will be a multi-million-dollar project across the region. I think it's a regional project, and I look forward to where we as a board can participate. That's all I have today.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to kind of comment a little bit on the eelgrass, too. I agree with Commissioner Adams. It's very important with our region. But the day the gentleman came to us and he admitted the only reason he came was because we had money in a fishing fund. But we also saw, and we've heard testimony from Mr. Otellan and also from the video we watched that day, the minute that these fences are down, they just go in there and eat everything. I mean, everybody, all the crabs and the tilapia and the manatees, and they just eat it all. So we got to find a solution there, but it is a regional solution, not just isolated to Putnam County. And I think it would be great to have that conversation on a regional and state basis. Do want to say cooler weather brings out fall activities. We're seeing that right now. Had a great time in Crescent City the other day, and I won't take Commissioner Pickens' thunder, but just really we're seeing a lot of people out and about, and it's really good to see 350, 400 people out talking to you. You get a kind of a sense of how the county's going, and I'm hearing a lot of positive feedback about the work that this board has done in the past year and our staff has done, and they're looking forward to the future of Putnam County. And a few people are concerned about growth, but we knew it was going to find us. We knew people were going to come here, and we're prepared for that. So I'm excited about what the future of Putnam County is. I also want to say that this fund that we set up, when I first got here 9 years ago, there was no talk about a fund like that. There was no money to be had. We were borrowing money from the landfill to pay for storm debris for hurricanes. And I remember going to Washington and raising my hand under the Trump administration to the FEMA director saying we need to get our money. And we got our money shortly after that, but not because Larry Harvey stood up. But we just brought awareness. But those were reality, and we've grown, we've managed our money, we've been tight where we needed to be tight, we bought what we needed to buy, and we moved this county forward. And I tell you, I can see it happening more and more, and I'm looking forward to the next few years of what this board and the future boards will do to move this county forward. One thing we can all do, we'll all walk out of here one day with our head raised high, that we left it better than we found it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey. Commissioner Pickens?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Turner. I'll add a little bit on the eelgrass. I have met with all the mayors in District 1 and informed them about the eelgrass program. But also, I'm working with one of my neighbors and then a number of our neighbors with Lisa Reineman, with the River Keepers, and also the city commissioner in the town of Willaca, Jessica Finch, to try to put together some property owners that are willing to at least give their information and think about possible spots in front of your house and on the river for the eelgrass experiment. So I'm going to try to set up a meeting so they can have a question and answer period. But I think we can have at least 10, which would be about 1,000 feet of people that are willing to participate in that program. So we're going to do that as a test program, and I think they're already doing it up in Willaca, and it's working well. We do have the questions of what happens when you do the fences down. So, but those questions will hopefully be answered, at the meeting that we have. I was invited. My wife and Holly and I were invited to the Willaca Women's Club last Monday for a breast cancer awareness event, which was really special. There were about 55 to 60 women there, and their key speaker was news anchor from WTLV, WJX, Jeannie Blaylock. Let me tell you what, she's the real deal. She is a classy lady. Instead of just a keynote speech, she asked some of the women who had breast cancer and survived to come up, and she asked them questions. They talked about from the time they were diagnosed to the treatment, to the cure, to what they would suggest of women, and everyone, it was to check once a year. Jeannie started the Buddy Check 30 years ago, and they also had the motorhome that they've turned into a traveling breast cancer check machine, whatever you want to call it, facility. And so it was there also. They've got $1 million in that. But that was a very, very special event, and I just want to commend Willaca Women's Club for putting that on. I'd like to recognize the Crescent City Rotary Club. As Larry said, last Saturday we had our 30th annual Swine and Wine Barbecue event. We had about 300 people there at Crescent Lake Farms, which is owned by John Williams Rebels. And I want to just thank Chairman Turner. He attended. Colonel Joe Wells was there. But really thank the Interlocking Club, the Breakfast Club of Palaca, and the Palaca Noon Club. They help us organize and serve the food. and then we in turn go and cook for them at the Wild Game Feast. But I really want to hats off to Commissioner Harvey for, again, this is probably the 10th year. Larry's cooked almost all the food by himself. He does have some help. Former Commissioner Buddy Goddard helped him. But like I told my wife, when he's in charge, you just show up and he'll tell you what to do. So the event went really, really well. And I'd be remiss if I just did not recognize the passing of just a community business icon, Mr. Danny Martinez. Danny was just an inspiration. He was, 95, 96 years old. And he just in the last month put together a project for the thrift store to help Haven Hospice to raise money. So even in his 90s, Danny was still thinking about this community and giving back, and he will truly be. That's all I have, Chairman Turner.
Thank you. Commissioner Wilkinson?
Thank you, Commissioner Pickens, for those words. I certainly agree with you on Mr. Martinez. He's going to be sorely missed throughout our community. A couple things I want to talk about. I'm still wanting to do an adoption event. However, I haven't found the right location and time. So if there's a pub event that's coming up that's going to draw lots of people, I would like to see it at a public event. So I'm open for suggestions from the board or from the community, someplace where we could do that. I think it's still very important for awareness and to get as many animals adopted as can. So I'd still like to do that. Yesterday, Longhorn opened in Putnam County, Florida. Yay. And we had a ribbon cutting, and they started out by doing the right thing locally. They had 2 nights of testing where they had family and friends over on Saturday and Sunday night in the restaurant and fed everybody, and it was a training event. But all the alcohol sales that they had, they collected, and they were able to donate $3,700 to the Bread of Life right off the get-go. Right before they even opened, they were donating money back to the community. And that's not something you see a lot when you see these big box stores. Usually you see the smaller local stores that are giving back to the community. So it was nice that they were willing to do that and that they've already created a great partnership in Putnam County. So we want to thank them for not only being here, but for their local support. And then a little bit mirroring Commissioner Pickens, please remember that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I dealt with that personally in our family with my mother and mother-in-law, and they were both breast cancer survivors. And so I wear a pin in their honor, and I wear pink today. But if y'all just keep that in mind as we go through the month to remind your friends and family to go get. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'd like to start out my comments by welcoming the sheriff back to town after taking his son to the National Skeet Shooting Facility. I think that was a great trip that Mason will always remember. So welcome back to town. I've got a question to ask for commissioners. Last month we had talked about bringing the decorative lights on the bridge issue back before the board at the last meeting of this month. And then the commissioners were going to go and talk to different people, depending on who it was, organizations or in the different governments. And I was wondering how you were coming on doing that, and could we put that issue off until the first meeting in November, or would it upset anybody? The next meeting is going to be a long, bad one. So
I'd be good with moving it because I ended up having to reschedule my meeting with the city of Palatka with our scheduling, so I haven't had an official meeting with them yet.
Okay, well, if y'all don't mind then, do we need a motion to do that, Rich? Okay, so, because it was in, I think, a motion that we were going to hear it the second. If we can move it back and y'all have a problem, then I'm gonna move it back to the first meeting in November.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
We'll
makes
take that
sense.
as directive, and we'll move it back to
I'm
the
fine with
first
it.
meeting in November. Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
so we'll move that to the first meeting in November. Give everybody a little more time, and I think Commissioner Adams-Ack was gonna try to talk to some
I'm all
personal
set.
people. Yeah, so good. I've been getting a lot of phone calls and conversations lately about the tax increases in Putnam County. And so I realize that the property appraisals, the property appraiser's office has increased the valuations of people's property around Putnam County. By the same token, if they weren't increasing, I think I would be more disturbed with that than they are increasing. And it seems like every article, every Facebook post, whatever you see about it, everybody forgets the fact that that we have dropped the millage rate 4 times in the last 5 years. And we started out at 9.4 something, and we're down to 8.8, so we're down 0.6 of a mil. Now, I know that's not tremendous amounts, but we've worked at it a little along, and I'm assuming we're going, if we can, going to work on it some more, hopefully, but still, we've come down. If you look at all the counties around us, they've held their millage, and I don't know that any of them has even dropped their millage at all. We have. So I understand that it's not the rollback rate that we would all prefer, but cost of doing business goes up at home just like it goes up for the county too. Just the insurance alone went up $141,000 today. So that we were not aware was coming at us. So I just think that sometimes somebody needs to mention that too, that this commission has dropped millage rates 4 times in the last 5 years. So that's all I have today. Is there any more business to come before the board this morning? Hearing none, this meeting's adjourned.